Wuchang Fallen Feathers is set in the Shu region during an alternate history late Ming Dynasty. The world is dark, decaying, and haunted by the feathering disease, a mysterious plague that transforms people into monsters. The interconnected, semi-linear areas are rich with Chinese mythology and architecture, creating a tragic yet immersive atmosphere. Exploring villages, temples, forests, and mountains feels breathtaking. I often pause just to admire the intricate statues and shrines scattered across the landscape. Some areas feel generic, but major zones stand out, helping me recognize important locations. So far, I haven't ran into any crashes or major bugs. I adjusted some of the graphic settings so the game felt noticeably smoother and much more playable. There's a certain weightness to the combat. It's hard to tell sometimes if it's input delay or I just get nervous when dodging chained attacks. Either way, it feels heavy compared to similar games. The bosses are aggressive and relentless. Their hitboxes and timing can be confusing, making dodging or countering tricky. Mobs have near infinite poise, they're faster, and I feel like I'm slower in comparison, which can make some regular fights overwhelming. Parrying or deflecting exists, but it's tied to specific weapon skills. Since I'm not great at parries, I mostly relied on dodging. Sometimes combat feels tight, but when executed well, especially on stable performance, the fights feel impactful. The Skybomb Might system and Madness Gauge adds a unique layers to the game, making progression feel steep and interesting. I like how weapon classes are unlocked early. It gave me the freedom to experiment right from the start. I kept swapping weapons just to test what felt best, and it made the early hours more engaging. The skill tree adds to that sense of freedom. Mixing weapon skills with discipline abilities let me shape my combat style. And best of all, resetting is free and unlimited. I could experiment with different builds without fear of wasting points, and that really encouraged me to try new approaches. The protagonist's animation often feels stiff. Sometimes she comes across as lifeless or dull-like, with limited dialogues that makes it harder for me to fully connect with her story. Other characters are easy to interact. The quests are clear, and the travel menu icons help track objectives. Accessibility is great, but the characters themselves lack personality. Aside from their names, most of them are forgettable. The game sounds are subtle but very effective. You hear soft bamboo flutes, rustling grass, and distant cries from the infected gave the world this sad, haunting atmosphere that fit perfectly with the game setting. The sound of clashing weapons and heavy hits feels satisfying and adds weight to each fight. But the music isn't always as powerful or dramatic. Some boss themes are memorable, but others didn't leave much impact on me. While most Souls-like games lean on European or Japanese inspirations, this one throws me into a haunting reimagined history rich with traditional architecture, folklore, and eerie ambience. The game is playable, but noticeable stutters and sluggishness even after the latest patch weigh down some of the experience. Combat feels heavy and sometimes clunky. The bosses and mobs feel faster than you, which can be frustrating. Flexible weapons and skill tree are fantastic. I only wish there were more long-range options like bows to give players more tactical variety. The NPCs and character fall flat. They don't bring much life or personality, and that makes it harder for me to connect with the story on a deeper level. I really appreciate how the female protagonist is presented. Armor blends with style, you can wear elegant outfits without harsh penalties, making the customization feel special and personal. I'm currently in chapter 4, so this is just my initial impression. I'm excited to see if the story deepens and if the combat grows on me and whether the pacing smooths out as I adapt. This is just my personal journey and everyone's experience will vary depending on how they approach the game. Do you think this is the kind of game you want to try? Which parts of the world or gameplay look the most interesting to you? And for those already playing, did you run into the same performance or combat frustrations? How were your first boss encounters? Once I finish the game, I'll upload my final verdict, so make sure you watch out for that. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.